Hi folks, welcome. In this video I'm going to give you a quick look around the college library and kind of how you would navigate it to do research, because in this class we're going to do an information literacy project where you're actually going to need to go into the library and find some sources. This is something you're definitely going to encounter in other classes where you're going to be required to go into the library and find certain kinds of sources. And so you might ask, we have the internet, we have Google, I have Google on my phone, I use Google all the time. Why would I bother going to the library? It's a good question, and for most people in everyday life, you don't need to go to the library to find information you need. I look up recipes every day, pretty much. I don't need to go to the library to do that, However, when you're doing scholarly research, when you're for school, or even, if you're doing something a bit more advanced than looking for a recipe, it's good to use the library because libraries have more credible sources than the internet. You may have heard that the internet is full of a lot of misinformation, and so that's a real problem. The reason why we have libraries, librarians have advanced degrees, and what they learn in taking their advanced degrees is how you bring in the good information and keep out the bad information. So when you're searching in the library, you know that every source you find is going to be credible, a credible piece of information. Some of them might be more relevant than others. Some of them might be more current than others. Some of them might be biased, but they're all credible. That's what the librarians do. They make sure that all the information in the library is credible. The internet, it's a completely different story. And so it can actually be more efficient in finding credible sources by starting in the library. Number two, so you're already paying for it. It actually costs a lot of money to have access to the best information. It's kind of a controversial topic because we don't exactly have a quality of access to information, but you're paying for it through your tuition dollars, and so you have access to it. This is one of the things many people love about college. One of the things many people miss about college when they graduate, so they don't have access to these resources anymore. What you'll also find is many of the newspapers and magazines that you might find on the internet that will charge you for access, you're going to get for free through the library. So that's a good reason to use the library. Another thing, you'll find the peer-reviewed scholarly literature. You'll find a lot of that in the library. That's really expensive, and so that's going to cost you a lot of money if you try to get that through the internet, or if you try to get it through Google Scholar. It's almost never available for free, which is why your tuition dollars go towards paying for these scholarly databases. And the library will have many great resources for any kind of project you might want to do. And like I said, it's probably more efficient at the end of the day to start looking in the library rather than on Google, because you just save yourself a lot of time of trying to wade through bad information and irrelevant information, and you get right to the good stuff, basically. Okay, so just to show you how to get to the library, you go to My Trocaire, you go to the library, and this is what the homepage looks like. Of the library. So they have a lot of things here. I'm going to try to keep this video short and not show you everything that I could possibly show you. And in 101, they'll probably go through some of this in more detail. But let's see. I think what we want to do is we want to look at library resources and databases and open this up. This is where you'll find most things. And so I'd say you want to start with resources by subject. And so they break it down into different fields of study and the kinds of resources you might look into in different fields. So, for example, if you're doing a psychology paper, I know in psychology, they generally have you do a research paper. They'll show you which databases you might want to go into to do research for psychology. So kind of the way it works, each database collects a number of different journals and all the articles published in that journal, and it's all searchable through the database. And so in different fields of study, they have different kind of databases that they'll collect a number of different journals in that discipline, so that you can find all the articles and all the journals in the same place. So for us, I'm just going to go to general databases and reference, because for our purposes, this is what you'll be using in this course, because we are going to be doing an information literacy project where you'll be needing to find sources here. So here's some general databases. There are a number of them. Let's see which one I want to find. If you go down, so you've got the ebooks. These are all databases. Then you've got ebooks. What's really helpful is reference databases. Reference works are like encyclopedias. And so it's kind of like a Wikipedia, except for you're in the library. So you may have heard Wikipedia is not really a credible source because it's user-generated, meaning people could go in there and type in all kinds of random weird stuff. All the encyclopedias, all the reference works in the library are going to be credible, and they're going to have basically the same information that Wikipedia would have. So let's just open up Credo Reference, which is it's a database full of all these different encyclopedias, basically. We'll give this an open up. And so another thing about this is you can access the library from home. I hope I remember my password. Afraid I have it wrong. Yeah, so you should be able to log in from home. You have to remember your password, though. I hope this is right. There we go. Yeah, so you can do this all from home. Usually what students do for first year research papers, most of their sources are going to be electronic. Well, the library also has books, but most things are done electronically these days. And so you log in at home, and then you can access all the information in the library from home. You can download it to your computer from home. So it's pretty convenient. You just have to log in. And so what you're going to be doing with your information literacy project is you're going to be searching a possible career. And you're going to be finding 5 sources where you're going to be answering certain questions about that possible career. And so I typed in travel nurse. No, that's giving me what I need. Maybe I'll just do nursing. Yeah, so we get a bunch of encyclopedia entries on nursing. Say nursing education. This seems pretty good. Nursing from the Oxford, and it's like, oh, this looks good. For what you're doing, this would be good. Have a lot of students do it on Florence Nightingale. They're doing research papers on Florence Nightingale. She was kind of like a big advocate for nurses and a founder of modern nursing. But anyway, you'll see this is set up just like a Wikipedia page. It breaks everything down. Then it gives you also links to other possible sources and all this kind of thing. Nursing education, kind of same idea. So that's just one database. Also go back, can do ebooks. And we have a whole database full of ebooks. And we'll say I want to search for nursing. Let's say career outlook. Let's see what happens. When you're searching in the library, you have to be, I don't know why, nothing. That's kind of weird. It's got to be a bit open-minded about trying different things out. And so this will give us, we have a lot of different results here. Yeah, so statistics for nursing, empirical nursing. I'll try to narrow it down to maybe employment. Let's see. There we go. Writing your nurse portfolio, annual review of nursing workforce issues, legal, professional, ethical dimensions of education, law for nursing leaders. Okay, so, when you get to more advanced things, you want to narrow your search terms down, but we're just talking about kind of how you get started. So that's the ebook thing. We'll go back up. There's some other, one of my favorites is opposing viewpoints. Because they're pretty straightforward database for first-year students, especially. And what you can browse issues. We can also do nursing. This is search. What if they have a whole page? You can browse issues here. What if they have a page? Oh, it doesn't look like it. But this is a great database, pretty general information. And I guess I'll try one of the big databases that it's used. EBSCOhost is a big one. What you want to do if you're an EBSCOhost, you want to just select them all and then click continue. We'll try nursing. Employment. The economy's effect on nursing employment and equal opportunities. Okay. And then what you can do is you can use filters in these databases. So what the first filter you want to use is the publication date filter. And then you can do it by source type. And it'll let you filter for, if you wanted something simpler, magazines. Just kind of got to mess around. There's a little bit of trial and error. So you're getting used to it. You got to be open to trying out different things. And then most of the databases are going to look very similar. This is Gal Academic 1 file. So we'll do nursing. We'll try. Or maybe I'll try nurse this time. And again, there are more advanced ways to do these searches. I'm just kind of doing some examples. Oh, this looks interesting. So nurses face employment fallout from pandemic. Okay, finally, the last thing I'll say is when you're doing this research and you find sources that seem helpful, it's really important that you do something to save them. And so there are a number of options depending on where you're at. But like in this database, you're almost always going to see this icon, the envelope icon for email. You click that and you type in your email, and it sends a link to you so that you can do full text, you can do PDF. It'll send you a PDF for the full text in the body of the email. And that way you have the source saved to your email account. And this one, you can also save it to your Google Drive, save it to your OneDrive. You can download it, then save it to a zip drive or your machine. You can print it if you want. So anyway, you look for the sources, you find the sources, you save the sources. And that's kind of how you go about it. So anyway, just to repeat the most important thing, when you're at the home page, what you're going to do, especially for this class, You're going to go to library resources and databases. If you want to find an individual database, you can go to library databases A through Z. If you know the name of the one you're looking for, it's like academic one file is there, so on and so forth. But resources for us, in this course, you're going to want to go to probably general databases. I guess you could go to nursing too. It's going to be a lot of overlap. But I think for this project, general databases, and then you open it up and you do a search. You're going to have to be kind of creative in narrowing your search and so on. I'd highly recommend you use these reference databases. So they're going to give you straightforward answers to some questions. So I hope that makes sense. There's so much more to say about the library. I could probably spend 2 hours talking about everything that they have in here. They really do a great job of providing a number of different things for you. They've got database guides, explain to you how to use different databases. You can actually contact a librarian, call the number, ask a question. They're super helpful, really knowledgeable. The research guides I showed you, citation help, they've got great resources on all that kind of stuff. So let me know if you have any questions about this. This is just a really brief intro to the college library. The main thing, you would want to look into next is developing search terms to narrow your search and filtering your searches to get more relevant results. Because those can be really challenging tasks that we're not going to go into too much in this class, but that's kind of the next step. So let me know if you have questions, and good luck with your research when we get there.